I'm going to give you a look at what you're getting when you buy this drive shaft. They promote this drive shaft as having the 1350 U-joints, so I'm thinking, oh man, that's got to be a lot beefier than stock, because everybody says, you know, you got to have 1350, well, you should have 1350 U-joints if you're going to be running 37s or larger, and I do plan on running 37-inch tires, so I said, all right, I'll get 1350 U-joint style drive shaft. So let's go ahead and compare this 1350 drive shaft from Rugged Ridge to the factory drive shaft. I think you're going to be a little confused. So there's a drive shaft. Now these I have the larger 1350 style U-joints. That's the important thing. Let's compare. So that is the U-joint on the Rugged Ridge, and that's the U-joint from the factory. So look at that. Look at that. What do you notice? This one is way, way, way thicker. Now, granted, typically, when you think 1350 drive shaft, you think beefy, heavier duty. 1350 is a dimension, is the size of the U-joint. Now, 1350s have a larger dimension from here to here, and then they have a larger diameter cap. Therefore, usually, they're a lot beefier U-joint. But you can see, now maybe this is made out of some crazy unique material, and it's okay that it's, you know, substantially less than the factory one, but, I mean, let's look at, you know, side by side. Overall, it looks to me like the factory is stronger than the aftermarket Rugged Ridge drive shaft. Now, lengthwise, I think they're totally comparable. And the most important thing, the only thing that matters for most people is going to be this. This can actually handle the articulation. This cannot. So you can hear, and you can see the boot's completely destroyed. Got all the grease sprayed all over the bottom of my Jeep. And this happened at 45,000 miles. 45,000 miles of normal day-to-day driving, and the factory drive shaft is absolutely worthless. So, what do I think of this Rugged Ridge? I was really excited about it until I realized how puny these U-joints are. But, I mean, I can always replace the U-joints. You can buy heavy-duty U-joints for 19 bucks a piece. You can get some. You can spend up to $40, $50 each, but those can always be replaced. Overall, what I really need is this guy right here. Now, features. You got greasable end caps, so these are both serviceable. You got a grease zerk here, so this is serviceable, and you have a grease zerk right there. So that guy's serviceable also. You can see it's been balanced. They've got weights welded on. So overall, I'm not completely dissatisfied. You know, weight-wise, it's definitely heavier than the factory. So maybe maybe it's a lot stronger as far as the tubing and stuff. It feels a little bit heavier when I pick up the factory one, and when I pick up the Rugged Ridge definitely feels heavier. So, I mean, I'll keep you up to date, you know, as I use this. But overall, the factory Jeep, the factory drive shaft, it's a shame it only lasted 45,000 miles. And I mean, we're talking not 50,000 to 90. Zero. I bought this Jeep brand new, and at 45,000 miles, this drive shaft was completely toasted, as well as the ball joints, the U-joints, and the rear brakes. So that's what a little something you might not know about the Wrangler is the components kind of suck. So don't ever put factory components back on your Wrangler. So maybe you're wondering, well, why do I need a new drive shaft? Or do I need a new drive shaft? So you can see all that oil and grease that's sprayed all over the bottom of my Jeep there. All that grease came out of that the factory drive shaft. And once you have no grease in your drive shaft, it's even sprayed over here, it will self-destruct. Now you can kind of see the boot's completely destroyed, and that angle is just not something that's going to work when you have a lifted Jeep. So, and you'll start to feel some vibration, especially when you put it in four-wheel drive. And the reason is right there. That end is pretty good. Really, you can see it doesn't have any adverse angles, so it's really not a problem. This angle down here, this is the one that will not survive a lift. Now, if you have factory control arms, you don't have to worry that lifting your Jeep is going to make your stock drive shaft not be able to extend long enough, because the factory drive shaft is made to extend long enough for full droop, even if it's lifted. So that's not the problem. The problem is the adverse angle that destroys the boot. Then you lose the grease. After you lose the grease, then the joint destroys itself. So that's why you need to upgrade your drive shaft if you're going to lift your Jeep. To change your drive shaft, all you're going to need to be able to move the drive shaft is make sure four-wheel drive is disengaged. Raise one front tire off the ground, and that's all you got to do. So then you just rotate the tire, and that moves your front drive shaft. Of course, you have to have it out of four-wheel drive, otherwise it's not going to work. Okay, at this point I've removed all these bolts. Now, the hardest thing about the bolts is that they're really long. But the most important thing is you have a little short wrench like this. Don't worry, you do not need very much torque at all, and this wrench fits up in there perfect. If you had a longer one, it'd be a real pain. But I mean, even with this little tiny wrench, I was able to get them broke loose with almost no effort. So once you get all those bolts out, I'm going to go ahead with a dead blow hammer and just going to smack it here. Or you can try to fit like a pry bar screwdriver, but a good blow right here should loosen this. Now you can kind of see, hear the clicking? The clicking is the bad thing. You can imagine how loud that is under a load. So we're definitely going to have to change that out. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, survival is a state of mind.